Go ahead.
Good evening. I'd like to call the Development Review Board to order Tuesday, November 15th, 2016. Take it away, Dan.
All right, first item on our agenda is the minutes from our last meeting. Do we have
Motion for approval?
Moved.
Got a motion? Need a second? Got a second. Carol, all in favor?
Abstain.
You're going to abstain?
Dan's gonna abstain.
Dan, abstain.
Okay, next item on our agenda is the witness oath. And we ask anybody that presents information to the board this evening to sign our witness oath, which is right up there on the podium, and it states, I solemnly swear or affirm under the pains and penalty of perjury that the statements I make, testimony I give, and other evidence I submit to the board at the board's public hearing held on this date shall be true and correct to the best of my knowledge and belief. And again, we ask you to sign in before presenting to the board this evening. Next item on our agenda is disclosure of any ex parte communications or conflicts of interest regarding the matter before the board this evening. Seeing none? Okay. Our one and only hearing tonight is HV Nonprofit, 212-214, excuse me, Safford Street. These folks are seeking approval for an additional apartment unit in an existing apartment building. This is the first of two required hearings this evening. And Jeff Goldstone of Goldstone Architecture is here this evening to present on behalf of the owner. Is that accurate?
That is correct.
Okay.
Good evening. Give you a brief summary of the work that we're proposing to do on the job site, and I can answer any questions you might have about it. As Dan said, it's a 4-unit apartment building. We are proposing to add a 5th unit in that apartment building. We just discussed the fact that it's been an apartment building for 17 years, since 1999. Before that, it was a fire station. It's in the village residential zone, and it's an existing non-conforming use in that zone. There is a first floor common room, a public room that has been underutilized for many years. That is the area that is being proposed for conversion into a 1-bedroom apartment. We are making some additional site changes as well. We are proposing to reconfigure the parking lot. We will have 9 parking spaces, which is an increase of parking spaces, and we're achieving that by closing the curb cut onto Safford Street. The curb cut to Gage Street will remain. We are going then from the current 1.75 parking spaces per unit to a proposed 1.60 parking spaces per unit, which still meets the required 1.5 parking spaces per unit. We'll be improving the site access to the building by having concrete walkways around the site so that all apartment units are accessible via walkway. You don't have to walk across the parking lot or across lawns to get to the entrances to the 5 apartment units. We're also proposing to construct a small totes enclosure, a garbage totes enclosure, to the north side of the L of the building. It's located here. You can see it on the plans. That will allow us to eliminate the 2 dumpsters that are currently located in the parking lot. Finally, we are proposing to erect a fuel pellet silo behind the building. It won't be visible from Safford Street, except perhaps when there are no leaves on the trees, on some angles, located behind this wing of the building towards the river, so that we can put the biomass boiler in the building. I want to point out that it is not in the regulatory floodplain, and that the silo is no closer to the river than the building itself is. Other permitting, we are waiting for the town to provide a water allocation letter so that we can finish our application for the wastewater permit, and due to the size of the project, we understand no stormwater permit is required. So that's a brief summary. If there are any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer.
Questions from the board?
Yeah. Is this building on the list of historic register?
Is, I believe, on the historic register as
It is on
a building,
the historic register.
We are consulting with an historic preservation specialist to go through the application for historic tax credits for the building.
Have you been before the Historic Preservation Committee?
It's outside of the area of jurisdiction of the committee.
Oh, okay. Density, Dan, it's fine as far as density is concerned for that building?
It is,
Fire
yes.
apartments?
Yes.
Same
yeah.
place?
And the main restriction is the parking requirement, which
Yeah.
they do meet. So, yes.
And you own that, on the north side, that parking lot, you own that also, is that right?
I don't personally, but yes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. You know that, sure.
The entire property line is defined on there. It's all
Oh, okay, very good.
Not a problem, yes.
Okay. Thank you. All I got, I guess, I think.
More questions, Dan?
The storage silo is going to be, is that corrugated steel?
Yes.
And how high is that going to be?
Good question, and I know the answer. The full specification has not been determined. This is based upon a preliminary analysis, and of course, silos are available in certain sizes, but the one that's shown here, and shown on the building elevations as well, is 16 feet high and 9 feet diameter.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Yeah, one more thing. Except for the things you have mentioned, is there going to be any other external changes except the
Yes, there are several improvements to the building that we're proposing as well. Building elevations, these are not site related, but they're building related. In particular, and probably most significant, this building has a great deal of brick erosion, degradation, reduced brick faces, etc. And we will be pointing and replacing bricks throughout the building, repairing the brick. Also, there's some structural issues with the brick. And we'll be-
I understood that, but no, nothing extra outside of that.
In addition to that, I have the elevations here so I can point to the right drawing. We're going to remove the overhead door, which was put in, I assume, prior to the renovations in '99. We're going to remove the overhead door, and we're going to construct a replica of the original doors, which are still extant on the south side of the building, on the south end of the front of the building. And we're also going to be restoring one panel from that door that's not currently the historic door.
Yeah.
So that is the most significant change to the exterior. In addition, we'll be removing the overhead door that remains in the L and removing the overhead door that remains in the back of the brick part of the building. Both of those were left as artist spaces during the prior development, and we'll be reoccupying those spaces. They've been used as bedrooms, they've been used as just simply family spaces, but they will be now put, the walls will be built there, and obviously that will improve the thermal efficiencies.
Is it going to be handicap accessible?
There is currently a handicap accessible unit, and it will remain handicap accessible.
One unit. Okay, thank you.
More questions from the board? What's the board's pleasure? Deliberations can be open. A motion is needed if you want deliberations to be closed. Preliminary review motion is what we're looking for. Dina,
I move for preliminary approval.
get a second? Charles seconds. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous.
So we'll see you next time for the final review. Thank you, Jeff. I don't have any other business unless you folks do. If not,
Board have any other business? Motion to, in order.
Motion to adjourn.
Charles moves. Got a second? Dan second. We'll be here all night. All in favor?
thanks, everybody. Thank you. It's a little better than